Here's the night that I thought I was going to die. Just listen to this story. I've always had a hustler spirit, so I don't settle for average. Always, I wanted to make money. When I was in Ukraine, I found an opportunity where I could make money by bringing in cars for people who wanted to buy cars. I go to the border, register the cars in my name, and then bring it in for them. It was a very dangerous thing to do because if anything happened to that car, if somebody used that car to smuggle drugs, it's actually your name written on it. But I was this type that was fearless, especially when it comes for money. Not fearless, but very courageous. Just going for what I want, basically. That was kind of life I lived. So there came a time where maybe every year, I think you need to take the car to the Russian border to renew your permit, vehicle permit, and your license. So even the cars that were not mine, just because it was registered in my name, I had to go to the border to renew the permit, except if the owner has made changes to the document and then the car is now in their name. Otherwise, I have to go there and renew the permit for them. And it was usually a routine stuff. You go there, you drive, and then you come back and you should be good. But then there was a particular night when I went to renew a car, and this was for somebody I actually knew. So I drove from Kharkov. No, I took a night bus from Kharkov to Kiev, the capital city. I brought the car in from the border between Russia and Kharkov. But when I was going to renew it, the owner of this vehicle was already in Kiev, the capital city of Ukraine. So I had to go to the border on the Kiev side of things. So that night, this particular car was a manual car, and then I was heading to the border to renew the permit. So the process was you go into Russia out of Ukrainian border, you go into Russia, you make a U-turn, and then come back into Ukraine, and you sign papers and did some accounting stuff. So while it looks simple, right? But while I was there, I took this particular car that day, and I was driving into the Russian border. Man, as I approached the Russian border in Kiev, there was no street light. It was total darkness. Looks like you're driving into an abyss. Every direction, darkness stretched all over. The only thing that was visible that was a light on my path was the headlight of the vehicle I was driving. But then some soldiers just appeared from nowhere. All I saw was these Russian soldiers, about three of them, pointing their gun towards me. My spirit jumped out of my body. I thought that this was my end. My end has come. At that moment, boy, the vehicle went off. The car did not start again. This is what fear can do to you. The car did not start again. All I saw was gun pointing at me and the headlight of these soldiers in the dark pointing at me. That was the only thing I saw. And when the soldiers saw me, the first question they were asking me was, "Stoti hotish?" That is, what do you want? Kudati idiosh, which means where are you going to? Kuda, where are you going to? Man, my spirit left my body. I had to call a friend of mine who was at the Ukrainian border waiting for me. We drove together and all that stuff. I called him that, bro, this vehicle is not starting again. It was a manual car. Each time I started it, I became a learner. I will match the clutch, release it gradually, and I became a learner at that point. The vehicle was going on and off on me almost 5 times just because I was scared. I was scared for my life. I was just thinking my whole day. One day, where they say one day, no, many days for the thief, one day for the owner. I thought this was the day for the owner. I thought this was the day. I was like, why did I come to Ukraine? I should have stayed in Nigeria. What am I doing here? Maybe the love of money is the root of all evil. It started to come to my mind that maybe I love money too much and this is where my life is going to go. I thought I was going to die that day, but God saved me. I did not die. You that are wishing me to die, I will not die. That is aside. But man, I was so scared. I just couldn't control myself at that point anymore. What I was thinking was not straight. I was telling this guy that, man, this car is malfunctioning. It's not working properly. But no, it was my fear because then I couldn't control the car properly, not matching. Man, it was just messed up. The only thing I had to do was I tried my best to make the car work, reversed, turn around. I didn't even get to the U-turn anymore. I just turned around. I think maybe I even passed the U-turn because it was so dark. And this was my first time going to renew the permit in Kiev, the capital city. I've been doing it the whole time at Kharkov, and the process was it was a routine process. So maybe this was because it was my first time, so I really didn't know the route. Man, I was almost gone that night. But then I turned back, and when I got back to the Ukrainian border, to make it worse, man, I don't want to say this, but I had to pay my way out because, boy, even the Ukrainian soldiers were threatening me too at that point. And man, I had to pay my way out. I'm not gonna lie to you, to save my life because, boy, I was scared for my life. And guess what? I had so much on me. I shouldn't have taken a lot of money with me, but also, honestly, sometimes it worked, but I had to pay my way out because they wouldn't even let me go. At that point, my boy, I just offered something and said thank you. I do not support you paying or bribing people. I don't support it, but this was a situation where my life was more important than whatever they were asking me. My life was more important than that. And what if you are gone and then they take the money out of your pocket? What good does it do you? So it wasn't a point where I was really compromising my value. However, it was a point where, boy, they were asking you for a gift. They called it a gift. They wouldn't tell you it's a bribe or anything. They called it a gift. But in my head, dude, what does it cost to give you a gift? I took, I think it was 100 grieving or even 500. I felt so bad. 500 grievings was a lot of money. It is a lot of money to give somebody. 500 is a lot of money to give somebody. I don't even know why I carried 500 grievings. I should have broken it down and then you pull out maybe 100 grieving. I don't even remember. But yes, I gave them, and boy, I saved my life. And I said, this is the last time that I will ever do something like that. My story here is, you might be a hustler, but sometimes, my boy, do it carefully. And also, don't let fear hold you too much, man, because fear is a very bad thing. It puts you in a very crumbling situation. When you are not confident, people can see through you. They can see through your eyes and they can know that you're actually scared. They can manipulate you at that point. Who knows if I was well confident and I said, no, I am here to renew this paper. Why are you asking me for a gift for that? But boy, this was the ninth time and they were asking for a gift. And honestly, I gave it to them. It doesn't cost me anything. My life is more important than 100 gravings or 500 gravings. Use your head, but usually I don't bribe yourself into situation, especially when it comes to opportunities. Do not do that. Rather let opportunities go. But if it's a situation where people are behaving crazily and just giving them money allows the situation die down, I'd rather say you do it and go your way in peace. I returned home in peace, and that was my last day doing such a business. I decided to do something else. So, peace out.